Okay, boys and girls, in math, you know that we have been studying measurement. And we've been measuring things, and we've come to the end of our unit where we're going to be answering a question on our test that's going to be a little bit more involved than just writing an answer or using a ruler. You're going to be telling me your answer using some facts that you know based on facts that I'm going to give you in the question. So we've done a little bit of this in our work, but I'm going to show you some examples or an example of what you can do to earn a perfect score on your question on your test. Okay? And this question is a little bit long, but we can pick pieces out of it and we can use those pieces of what we call facts. Those are things that we know. We're going to use those facts to write an excellent example or an answer that we want to see that's way up here, okay, that would make your parents very proud of you if they saw your answer on this test, okay? So, the question that I have for you today is, I wrote it on a piece of paper for you, and I'm going to read it to you, and it involves some facts. So I want you to think about some things that might be important as I read this to you, okay? So use your brain as you're listening. I have a pencil box, okay? I have a pencil box right in front of me to show you, okay? So visualize this in your head. I have a pencil box and a ruler, okay? My friend gives me a pencil sharpener, okay? So I want you to visualize a pencil sharpener in your head. That is, and this is a fact, that is shorter than this, the pencil box, okay? So I want you to visualize in your head, I have a ruler, a pencil box, and a pencil sharpener. My question is saying that I already know that the pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box. But the question not only involves those facts, it involves this. The question is that pencil sharpener shorter than the ruler? Now, before you raise your hands, think for a moment. You know what a pencil sharpener is in real life, and you know how big it is in your mind. You also know how big a pencil box is, and you can see it right in front of you. Same thing with the ruler. So you know that a pencil sharpener is usually normally smaller and shorter than all of these. But let's pretend that you didn't know that. You have to use facts from what I just told you in my question to answer this question. So, who can remember a fact that I read in my question? And we're going to write it down. Who remembers a fact that they already know about the pencil sharpener, the ruler, and the pencil box? What's one that you remember? Chelsea, what's one fact? And I'm going to write these down so you can see them. What's one fact that you remember me reading from that question? Or that little story? Speak really loud so we can hear you.
The pencil sharpener is smaller than the pencil box.
Okay. Very important fact, Chelsea. Can you repeat it again while I write it as you say it?
The pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box.
Okay, the pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box. Okay, so that's one important fact, and that's information that we have to use in our brains to remember to answer our question. Okay, so I wrote that down. The pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil. Oh, I forgot that. Box. Good, Brayden. See, I know you're awake and you're paying attention because you caught a mistake. Good. One other fact that you remember that's really important to know that you remember from my little story and my question. Does anybody remember what that is? Kevin?
The pencil sharpener is shorter than the ruler.
Okay. I'm asking you the question though. Is the pencil sharpener shorter than the ruler? That was the question, but that's not the fact though. Do we know anything else? That was the question. Brayden?
The pencil box is shorter than the ruler?
That's the one I was looking for. Good. Good, Kevin. You're thinking. That's awesome. But Brayden caught that other fact that we almost forgot. Can you say it again, Brayden, as I write it? I want to write exactly what you say. The
pencil box.
Okay. The pencil box is
shorter
okay.
than the ruler.
Good. Oops, then the ruler. Oh, I had an eraser, right?
Maybe you should use pencil. That's why you always tell
Okay,
us
so I'm going to read it to you now. The pencil box is shorter than the ruler. Okay, those are the two main facts from my little story and going along with my question that are very important to know. So, we can say the pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box. I don't have that pencil sharpener in front of you, do I? But we know that that pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box. We also know that this pencil box is shorter than the ruler. So if we put these in order, we can visualize in our head how big that pencil sharpener would be, and that knowledge we're going to use to write our answer to this question. Okay, so like Kevin said before, we could say, how do you know that that pencil sharpener is shorter than the ruler? Okay, now what I want you to do is think in your mind of how you would answer that question, okay? And one thing that we can say to ourselves is, this is our I can statement that we're going to keep in our head because we're going to remember that we can do this. We can use information that we know. I can write facts to show my answer. That's exactly what I just did on my paper right now. I wrote the facts down to write my answer. I'm going to use all of those facts to complete my sentence for my answer on the test. Okay? Thumbs up if you understand what I just said. Okay. Charles? Wonderful. Now, I want you to think about how you would answer that question. Can anybody give me an example of how they would answer that question? If I gave you a piece of paper and a pencil right now, how would you answer that exact question? How do we know that the pencil sharpener is shorter than the ruler? Using the facts that we know, what would be your answer on the test? Because we're going to use your answer and we're going to look to see how that compares to what I'm looking for when you write your answer on the test, when I'm grading it. Kristen, have a seat. What would be your answer on the test? How would you answer that question? How do you know? Ian, how do you know?
I know because the pencil sharpener is smaller than the ruler.
Okay, that was part of my question, but how do you know? That's my question. How do you know that that pencil sharpener is shorter than that ruler? Using the facts that we wrote down.
Because it's smaller.
But how do you know that it's smaller? This is why we're doing this together, because it's tricky.
Because it's short.
We know it's short in our head, right? When we visualize a pencil sharpener, we think, oh, it's about that long.
The ruler is taller than it.
Okay, the ruler is taller, but comparing it to that, remember there were three objects. Comparing that sharpener, not just to the ruler, but something else, there was a comparison there. So think about, how would you write your answer to this question on the test? Oh, I see some volunteers. Let's pick someone I haven't picked on. Spencer, what would be your answer?
Because it said it on the question.
Okay. Can you tell me what fact you used in the question and in the little story? What fact was important? The pencil sharpener is shorter than the pencil box. The pencil box is shorter than the ruler. Remember, we put them in order. We had the ruler, and we had the pencil box. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Remember, we put them in order. Here's the ruler. Here's the pencil box. And then if we can imagine that sharpener, what facts can we use to show that this imaginary pencil sharpener is shorter than the ruler? There was one important fact that we wrote down. That pencil sharpener is what?
Because it's shorter than the pencil box?
Very good. Okay, so Spencer, can you say it in an answer that you would write down on your paper? We're pretending we're practicing for the test. How would you say that in a sentence? I'm going to help get you started. I know the pencil sharpener is, and then you finish.
It's shorter than the ruler because the pencil box is longer than the pencil sharpener.
Okay, very good. And you could say that it's shorter the pencil sharpener is shorter than the box, or you could say that this is longer than the pencil sharpener but yet shorter than the ruler. Now, there's a lot of different ways to answer this question and still answer it correctly, but I want to show you what I'm looking for. So, I know you're sitting really patient, and I want all of your eyes up here. Jordan, up here for a second. She is, but she's going to pay attention up here while we're answering this question. Okay, now, this is what I see a lot of students in first grade when it comes to a question. This is how they answer it. Remember, my question was, is the sharpener shorter than the ruler? I want you to explain why. Now, a lot of first graders like to say, it is smaller. Okay? And it is smaller, isn't it? It's shorter, it's smaller, but I want you to explain and tell me why. So look at this. Thumbs up if you think this is the perfect answer that I'm looking for on the test. Thumbs up, though. Thumbs up. Reese, you think this is what I'm looking for? Really? I think we could do a little bit better. Here's my medium. This is getting a little bit better. Is the sharpener shorter than the ruler? Explain. Yes, it is smaller than the ruler. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah,
A little bit better. But I want to show you what I'm really looking for. And this would be an example that would explain why, using all those facts that we wrote down. Okay? The answer that I'm really looking forward to, is the sharpener shorter than the ruler, explained, is yes, the sharpener is shorter because, we know this word, we've worked with this in our dictionaries before, because that key word is telling us why. That's the key to explaining why. Because the pencil box is shorter than the ruler. So we know that that pencil sharpener is shorter than that ruler because it's shorter than the pencil box. Okay? Okay. Now, I've just shown you 3 examples. You are going to have a question on your test that's very similar to this, but it's not going to have a pencil sharpener, it's not going to have a pencil box, and it's not going to have a ruler. It's going to have 3 other objects, and you're going to have to explain why. That's the secret. Okay, when I give you the test. So, I'm going to give you a question, and I want you to think about, and I'm going to lay these examples up on the front table, and you're going to think about, okay, what is my teacher really looking for, and how can I explain my answer to look like this? This is answering the question. This is a little bit better. But my ultimate goal is to answer it using the word because and telling me why. Okay? So think about that when you write your answer. Okay? Okay. Now, have a seat. All of you. You have been awesome listeners. And Mrs. Bowman is done videotaping. But